Welcome to another episode of Legendary Kicks and Whips. Today we're taking a look at another 80s icon from the automotive world and one of the most controversial sneakers of all time. We're talking about the 1987 Porsche 911 Turbo and the Freddy Krueger SB Dunk Low.
Hey, what's up? I'm Zeddy, and I'm with
Sergio.
And today we're diving into the iconic 1987 Porsche 911 Turbo, also known as a 930. This legendary machine is a true masterpiece with the 3.3-liter turbocharged flat 6 engine, producing 282 horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque. With a 0 to 60 time of just 4.6 seconds and a top speed of 172 miles per hour, this car is an absolute beast. Let's explore its rich history and dive into the fascinating world of the Porsche 930 Turbo.
This is a car that really got me excited about, sports cars. I had the Micro Machine. I don't know if you remember you had the Micro Machine.
Oh, yeah.
It may have been a convertible though, but it was red and black, just like this one.
What do you like about it?
So my obviously the whole shape of the car is really cool. Part of the car is that whale tail.
The whale tail, yeah.
It's just so cool. Like every time I see it, it just reminds me, of the 80s when I was a kid.
That I always get in a little bit of trouble when I'm talking about cars, especially with the wifey, is I go immediately to the butt, to the arse.
You describe him like if you're describing a woman, right?
Yeah. So one thing with this car is that, I mean, you see the back part of the car and you see the hips, and then it was for me a great representation of a staggered fit. Like you see the thinner wheels up front with the wider wheels in the back, so it just had that nice curve, man. And I'm sorry if I get too excited and make a lot of shapes with my hands, but this car just has really nice hips, really nice behind, and the whale tail is just a little cherry on top. Because you see that, like if you see it from the side, if you haven't seen one in person, this car has a lot of presence in its stance. It looks wide, it looks like it's gripping the road, and when you see the back part, the rear panel, it just looks beautiful, man. It looks so wide.
If you had a poster on your wall, chances are this was one of them.
Oh, yeah.
I know I did. Was this one of the posters that you had on your wall?
I didn't, man. I had a Lamborghini. It was a Lamborghini Diablo.
Well, I'm glad you said you didn't have a poster because I got something for you, brother.
Oh, nice.
Just for you.
Nice. Appreciate it, bro.
From me to you.
Oh, thank you, bro.
It's an actual 80s poster too, so.
Oh, and it's you could tell it's an old poster.
Yeah.
I'm covering my face. I'm sorry.
You smell it. It smells like the 80s too. And it's almost the exact same spec as this one.
Yeah, it does smell like Saturday morning cartoons.
All right.
Nah, man, this is awesome. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, you're welcome, brother. You're welcome. So this specific example has 12,000 miles. It's all original paint, all original interior. Has been, recently serviced. Had a major service, so it's ready to be on the road, and we'll be test driving in just a little bit. So I think that's going to be fun. 930 was introduced in 1975 all the way to 1989. It was a 4-speed manual up until 1989, which was the first and last year of a 5-speed manual.
Why do they call it the Widowmaker?
So the Widowmaker was the nickname given to this car because there was quite a few crashes and even deaths associated with the car because of the
literally a Widowmaker.
It's literally a Widowmaker, yeah. And they attribute it to the lag in the turbocharger.
The boost.
Yeah, the boost. So from 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs, you get that kick, and if you're not prepared for it, you can.
Or if you don't have the right tires.
Yeah, you can fishtail and really lose control of it. So. Man, you gotta be careful when we take it out there.
And this one doesn't have power steering, right?
No power steering, no
ABS.
No ABS. No.
So it's definitely
it's
a Widowmaker.
raw. Yeah, it's one of the most raw driving experiences you'll ever have. My one of my buddies, Beck, he always makes fun of the car. He says that it looks like a squash Beetle, like a Volkswagen Beetle. But interestingly enough, is that the founder of the company, who founded in the 30s, his name was Ferdinand Porsche. Before he founded the company, he had like a design company where people could hire him, and he was hired by Volkswagen to design the
So like a
Beetle.
work for hire, come
Exactly.
here, and
So
then he made the Beetle.
He actually designed the Beetle, so I think he took a lot of those concepts, and poured them into this and into the 911.
This
So
it just looks like a pissed off Beetle, man. It looks
Yeah.
like an aggressive Beetle that just went through something.
ready to race, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because it does have a lot of the similarities, the little
Yeah.
round shape. And the Beetle also has nice little hips,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be a car that I personally choose.
Yeah, as much as I hate to compare it to a Beetle, I mean, I do see the resemblance, and now I mean, have the same designer, so it makes a lot of
The
sense.
headlamps.
Zeddy, what do you say we take this for a spin?
I'm ready, bro.
You're driving, brother.
Hey, please.
All right, let's
You
do
drove
it.
last time.
Let's do it.
Bro. So you ready to ride the Widowmaker?
Let's do it. So remember, we're driving a Widowmaker, so you gotta take it easy.
The pedals are very interesting, man. Like they're in a little cluster. And again, no power steering.
Let's see if it's true that the turbo lag is pretty crazy.
Or
No, maybe we shouldn't do that. It's gonna kick in right now.
barely. So it feels really good, man. It feels right now I'm on second. 3,000 RPM. Where's the turbo kick in? Not risk it just yet. I have an 87 Porsche 930, aka the Widowmaker. So far it feels great. It feels nice and grippy. The gearbox smooth.
You can really feel the road.
Oh yeah. Hear it too.
Definitely feels like an 80s car. It's got such an iconic look.
They say that they call it the Widowmaker because of the turbo lag. A lot of people didn't expect the turbo to kick in and they weren't ready for it, and of course they will lose control. They wouldn't have the proper tires, or they wouldn't be racing or driving in the proper roads. But so far it's not as unpredictable as I would think it would be, but it feels it does make you a little nervous waiting for that turbo to kick in. Just a little bit.
You're just like anticipating it, right?
Yeah, and I think it should have come with a warning. I mean, we're very warned before we got into this car that, of course, we don't want to leave anybody. We don't want to make any widows today.
Imagine driving out of the dealership in one of these back in '87. Man, that would have been so cool. Now, the AC does not work very well, I will say that. We have it almost at max.
I'm
You
starting
can
to get
barely feel anything.
swamp ass.
When you feel the sweats.
The sweats. Compared to the SVT Cobra, the 2003 that I drove, this gearbox actually is a lot smoother.
Feel smoother?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very easy to shift. And the pedals are located in a very interesting position. They're not facing forward. They're to my right. So it's almost like if I have to sit.
Shift it off to the right?
Yeah, just a little bit. And I wonder if there was a reason why Porsche designed it that way. Maybe for a lot of turns on the race course. It's very cool. I thought it was going to be uncomfortable to drive or trying to shift. It's actually very easy to shift, man. And
You would say it's smooth?
it
shifts pretty smooth?
Oh yeah, it shifts way smoother than even modern cars. Said I had a hard time with that mechanical shifter on the Shelby, on the Cobra, I'm sorry. This one shifts really well, it's smooth. It locks in immediately, no issues. And the power's not there when you want it, but when it kicks in, it does give you a little thrill, man. It's something that I wouldn't expect on a car this old.
I just can't believe and can't get over that we're driving one of my dream cars as a kid. Crazy, definitely a blessing to be able to drive this car. I think as a kid, you just like the look. You don't really know much about, speed or the comfort of the drive. You can't drive yet, so all you think about is the look of the car and how cool you would look coming out of the car. I think we still think about that as adults. When you're looking to purchase a car, you're imagining yourself walking out of it.
The cool factor, you're parking
Exactly.
on a Walmart and just looking back. Doesn't have to be a Walmart, by the way. Depends. Target, or wherever the heck you park. But that walking away of your car and then turning back, that little sense of pride knowing that that's your car. So far, driving impression on this thing, I like it. I totally understand why Porsche, it's one of the few sports cars that could also be daily drivers, man. Because this car in 87 wouldn't be a bad choice as a grocery getter.
Could you see this as a daily driver like back then? Or what about now?
I think back then, definitely. Maybe now, just because of the modern creature comforts, it might not be the best option. But back then, definitely, man. I think like the riding position is perfect. It's smooth. It's not ostentatious. It's not loud. It feels great. I think it's very easy to drive around the city. Just the right amount of speed. And there was really nothing competing with it back then.
No, this was a car to have back then. And I think you're right. I think it would have made an excellent daily driver. Definitely getting some looks too. Not as many as a DeLorean, but for sure getting a lot of looks from people. So we know it's an eye catcher for sure. You don't see a lot of 930s driving around either.
Not many in this condition. And the whale tail, man, that thing looks great in person with that additional black accents. The brakes feel great.
It's about to hit, what, 12,700 miles? So still a very low mile example. I mean, it's all original, so it's really cool that we can get to appreciate what these cars were and how they were made without any mods. All right, guys, we're back here. Home base.
It's a stable.
Great drive, great looking car. What would you give it out of 10?
For an 80s car, I would definitely give it a 9.
9, really? Wow, that's really high.
Only because for me, it could have been a 10. Only because of the AC.
The AC, yeah. I'm surprised you went that high, but that's really cool.
And what would you give it?
Yeah, I would say maybe like an 8. It's not too comfortable, but it's a great car.
I don't have any complaints on the seating, man. Like I think the seat position is perfect. I like
it's
it.
a great car. Super excited to be driving this one. We're gonna head back to the stable and take a look at the Freddy Krueger SB Dunk. So we have the Freddy Krueger SB Dunk Low, one of the most controversial shoes of all time, as we mentioned. It's just got a crazy, crazy story. It's inspired by the villain from the 1984 movie by Wes Craven called A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Traumatic.
Yes, that's all. That's probably the best word we can say. We both watched it as kids. Well, at least I watched it. I think you started watching it, you mentioned.
Yeah, I was a little old enough to not want to go to sleep because I was so freaked out. I thought that guy was gonna destroy me in my sleep, or my dreams. So yeah, it traumatized me. And as a kid, my imagination was wild. So I took it to heart and I thought it was real, man. And I didn't have anybody to tell me otherwise because my parents didn't speak English, so I didn't know what the heck I was watching until. So when they learned that I was watching crazy, scary movies at my age, I mean, I see it now and it's a little bit comical, but as a kid, it was scary as heck.
Yeah.
It was scary as heck.
Another crazy movie that I watched was like The Exorcist. I don't know if you ever saw that. Man, talk about traumatized. That's probably the worst movie anybody could ever see.
Please don't tell me there's a Nike
Exorcist.
Exorcist version, man.
No.
I don't want to talk about that. No, yeah, the same thing, man.
So this shoe is based off of his character. There's a lot of, as much as, I'm not a big horror movie fan. I don't celebrate Halloween much either, but I mean, the colors kind of match the turbo, the 911 that we had.
Yeah, I mean, so, it goes with it. It's with the red and the tan.
It could also work for like Christmas too, right?
Yeah, I mean, green. Depending on how psycho you are.
Right. So you have the Freddy's sweater represented here with the green and the red. You got the suede with blood stain. Some people will say the suede represents like flesh, like people's flesh. It's kind of sick, but
yeah, it's hardcore.
What's really cool is the Nike swoosh, the metallic silver.
Silver.
It represents the blades on Freddy's glove. And then what's really crazy, and we'll show you guys this, is the insole. It's got the burnt flesh of Freddy
Oh
Krueger.
dang!
Story goes that Nike decided to make a Halloween pack. There was two other shoes that were going to be released at the same time, and this is in 2007. This was one of them that was going to be released. Well, right before the release, New Line Cinema, which owns the rights to the Freddy Krueger movie, they caught wind of it, and they put a cease and desist
And what was the other
for
shoe?
copyright infringement.
Really?
The other two weren't, I can't remember, but they weren't as popular, as famous as this one. So they forced them to recall the shoes and to incinerate them, to burn them. So story goes that some of these shoes, not I wouldn't say a lot, because the estimate is somewhere about 30 pairs exist out there. Some people estimate more like 100 or to 200 or maybe even more exist. But story goes that some of the Nike employees rescued some of these shoes before they got incinerated. So you actually see some of these shoes that have oil stains on them, where they had poured oil on them to burn them. But then also 24 shoes or so supposedly were actually sold through a skateboard shop in Mexico.
Really?
And those actually come with the box. So this would be one of those shoes that was sold in the Mexico skateboard shop, because it has a box. It has the laces also. So that's, and it doesn't have the oil stain. So that's kind of how you know that it comes from that shop. All the other ones will not have boxes for sure.
That's just so crazy, man. Because it's almost like a car. You know, you get a vehicle and then you get those recalls. You have to send a car back, and but in this case it was, hey, send me your car because I'm gonna burn it because it wasn't ready for the road. But something like this, so unique, because I've never seen anything like this, and I'm barely diving into the whole sneaker world, but I do get all the references to the movie. You know, the sweater, the flesh, and then the blood, and then and ironically what they did to the shoe. You know, the Freddy Krueger's burned flesh is represented in here, and this is what they did to the shoe. They actually burned them, and so that's the irony of that.
Another little surprise here. We actually have another pair of Freddy's. So this is a different pair than that one. As you can see, the material is different. And I just want to say a big thank you to one of my good friends, Simon. These are some of the shoes that he's selling, and you can actually find them for sale on his Instagram page. It's Depeche 23 Mode. You can find them for sale. This is a size 9, actually both a size 9. This one is listed for, I believe, 39,000, but
Wow.
check it out. This is a great pair to have, one of the must pair to have if you're a big time collector. Now these are a little bit different. The material's different. There's still blood splatter here on the suede, but the material of the sweater is different, as you can see here, and we'll show you guys a comparison.
A different pattern.
Yeah, and one of them, I believe this one's made in Indonesia, I believe. So I wanted you guys to see the difference here. Even the back here, if we show, is different there. The sweater pattern is a little bit different.
But it's still known as a Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger, yeah. This one's considered actually a prototype, because I believe it was one of the first ones that actually came out into the market. So this is considered a prototype, but this does not have a box. It doesn't have laces. So this could very well be one of the ones that was going to be incinerated and got saved by some of the Nike.
It kind of looks like a Gucci colorway, right? I mean, with the red and green.
Yeah, it
It's
does, right?
it's like it looks like it could have been a Nike and Gucci collab. But how's the inside? Oh, it's just
Yeah, this one does not have
the burnt
flesh. Yeah. So these are part of the legendary sneaker collection. You can actually check those out at the store in San Antonio at North Star Mall.
So aside from this, I mean, essentially there would only be like 22 more out there, 22
Yeah.
pairs. It's insane.
Yeah, I really think there's more, but that's what the numbers say. Now on GOAT, right now there's a few pairs for sale, anywhere from 21,000 to 55,000. On StockX, there's one pair going for like 138 grand, which
That's
is
insane.
a lot, yeah. So this one's definitely more affordable, in the more affordable range. Definitely one to pick up if you're looking for a Freddy. Very reputable seller. I bought a couple of shoes from him for my personal collection, so I highly recommend them. But yeah, it's a crazy story, man. Crazy shoe. You don't see a lot of shoes with that kind of history.
And this is the question I might be asking regularly, especially with shoes like this, because would you wear a shoe like this if you would buy it?
So I personally, wouldn't wear it for two reasons. One is because it's a Freddy Krueger shoe. I'm not a big fan of any horror stuff, but I wouldn't. Second is I wouldn't wear it just because of the cost.
Yeah, I know that.
Crazy, yeah.
But that would be the main thing for me, because
So this $40,000 shoe will become a $30 or $25 or $30,000 shoe
if you wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this would
Be
be
no longer
a dead stock.
Yeah.
Both of them are dead stock.
They're both dead stock.
Insane, man. That's just crazy to have this here. That's so limited and so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ignore the backstory, or even if you wouldn't know why they made it, it's still a good looking shoe, because you can combine it with jeans and also for the skateboarding community. It's just something that you could easily wear, and it doesn't look like way off of the style. It's pretty cool.
And some celebrities have rocked these. I know Travis Scott. There's a picture of him wearing these with a Freddy T-shirt,
sweater?
or sweater, yeah. So
Of course, you would do that.
it's cool, yeah.
Thank you for letting us hold another piece of history here with us.
Yeah,
man.
and
That's
thanks
pretty
to Simon,
awesome.
man. He's hooked us up for sure.
Hey, Simon, and thanks to Legendary Sneakers, man. This is pretty awesome. And as always, I mean, we might not be the experts in shoes or cars, but we love what we do, and we love to be able to share this with you guys and have access to items like this that are so special, and we would want to hear what you guys think, and also what you guys would suggest that we can take a look at for the future, and any knowledge that you guys can share with us, we would gladly take it.
And stay tuned for some more legendary kicks and legendary whips. Thanks, guys. See you next time.